Today's episode of the Just Keep Swimming podcast is brought to you by Audible. Audible is an online audiobook and podcast service offering over 10,000 books and the ability to listen to your favorite podcasts, including the Just Keep Swimming podcast. I personally use Audible all the time and suggest you take a listen to Intentional Living by John C. Maxwell. In this book, Mr. Maxwell shares his story on how he was able to live a noble and purposeful life and gives you tips and tricks so you can do the same. So please start your 30-day free trial now at www.audibletrial.com/JKS podcast, all lowercase. Again, that is www.audibletrial.com/JKS podcast. And if you have any more questions or concerns for the Just Keep Swimming podcast, you're always welcome to reach out to us on Facebook or at Instagram at juskeepswimming_podcast, or you can email us at jkspodcast702@gmail.com. And with that out the way, let's dive into it. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to the Just Keep Swimming podcast. It's your friend, your boy, your host, Mr. Adrian Jackson, and we back at it again, live, baby, with another great episode for you. And you already know who's with me. It's the man, the myth, the legend. It's Mr. Tease Mac. Back on the track. Mr. Producer, glad to be live again. Thank you so much for bringing us here, Tease. Big shout out to Vegas Vibration for making this happen. And thank you guys all out there for watching today. It's about to be another great episode for you guys. Tease, you all good back there, though, bro? We good to hear right
now? Yeah. We in there. We chilling. Let's go.
Yes, sir. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to get started, and I'm about to bring on our very special guest today. With the month of July, I kind of want to talk a little bit about independence. And I know this man right here is actually an independent artist. So I actually want to just talk about what it is to be an independent artist and go from there. So bring it to the camera, microphone, bring it to the stage. There we go. We have Mr. Frank the drummer. Frank, how we doing, brother?
Doing well, bro.
Yes, sir.
Chilling.
Yes, sir, man. I appreciate you for joining us today, man.
I'm glad to be here, bro.
Yes, sir. Such late notice, bro. I appreciate this so much.
It's all good. I'm glad to be here, man.
Yes, sir.
Glad to be here.
Yeah.
So I go by Frank G.
Frank G?
By the way, yeah.
I was going to ask you that. Like, what do you want to be called? Frank the drummer?
I just go by Frank, man. Frank is cool.
Okay.
Frank G is what everybody knows about.
Okay, dope. Is there any, like, social media or anything that we can look you out on, Frank?
Yeah, so I have IG. It's just Frank G's 79, and that's G's with 3 E's.
3 E's. G. I like that. Super G.
Yeah.
What was G to the third power? I love that
part.
But yeah, Frank. So I just kind of want to talk a little bit about being a drummer today or a musician. I know you do multiple type of instruments, correct?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, drums are my first instrument.
Okay.
And so started when I was about 6 years old.
Okay.
Funny story how it started. Like I said, my pops just bought a drum set, put it in my room.
Oh, word.
You know what I mean? Yeah, of course you want toys, you want the Nintendo, you want all that. And my pops, he bought me a drum set. Actually, he bought it from like a secondhand store.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he brought it in, set it up. I knew nothing about it, man. I'm talking about, I'm probably 6 years old. I'm taking markers to it. I'm writing all on it. I didn't know the value of music.
Right.
But, I would beat on it and I beat it down until I just broke it. You know what I mean? And then I started watching videos. It used to be something that come on TV called Midnight Live. And so all the old school bands, Earth, Wind and Fire, all those bands, Tower of Power, all those bands would come on, James Brown. And, that's how I learned how to play. Honestly, I would see those guys back there playing and I would try to sit down and do what they did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so so I'll be honest, music is one of the toughest things because you don't get good right off the bat.
Not at all, bro.
And it'll knock you off. And you'll be like, I don't want to do that. And I had some of those spots in my life where I really didn't want to do it anymore because, you measure yourself up against the people you see. So, but yeah, one thing I will say about music, though, is that it kept me in a certain place. in my life. You know what I mean? Because, you know, rather than jumping up, going outside all the time, doing those other things, once I started being able to hold the beat, then my interest was there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, but nah, it's, you know, that is one good thing that I could really thank my dad for.
Right.
You know what I mean? Rest in peace, Pop.
Oh, yes, R.I.P. Pop. Big shout out to him. No, and I love the idea of it because I played trumpet when I was in middle school.
Oh, nice.
And that's something that still to this day I wish I would have kept doing.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because, you know, when you first get the trumpet, definitely at that age, middle school, it's like, okay, it's just a class. But then you start playing a full song, and then you start to get rhythms down, and you start to realize, ooh, I can do Dr. Dre if I do these type of beats.
Yep.
And next thing I know, I'm in the room practicing, but my brothers and sisters in there playing around, whatever. So I'm over here playing Dr. Dre next episode on the trumpet. And it was like, oh, wow, I can make this.
That's nice. That's kind of my story as well. You know, look out the window, everybody outside playing. I'm in the house, and all my friends would hear me playing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so like I said, when you get a song, like you said, when you get a song down, that's a wrap.
And you know you got a little audience going. Yeah. It's like, okay, let me give them a little show. You know what I'm saying?
Girls.
So what was the first song you could play off the top of your head?
So the first song I learned on the drums was that Ain't No Stopping Us Now. Ain't no stop, because it's just a straight 4/4 groove, like, you know, straight groove. So I just learned how to do that. Just keep a straight groove, you know what I mean? And honestly, by instinct, I didn't realize what I was doing, you know what I mean? Like playing eighth notes on the hi-hat, I didn't really realize I was actually doing what it takes to play the drums.
Right.
Some stuff just came to me naturally because I don't even remember learning. I mean, I remember starting, but even when I started, you know what I mean, I could do some stuff.
Right.
That the average person probably couldn't do.
Couldn't just pick up.
Yeah, so that's when I realized I really had something. But it was Ain't No Stopping Us Now.
Okay.
That was my first song that I learned on the drums.
That's dope. So when did you first start taking your lessons then? You know what I'm saying?
So I really didn't take any lessons.
Really?
Yeah, I never took a lesson.
Okay, wow.
Not on drums. Never took a lesson on drums. Like I said, I naturally had a lot of stuff inside of me. So I'll go back a little bit as far as my beginnings. So my dad was a pastor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so church is where I really got it. And in that environment, you just thrown in it. You know what I mean? You don't get time to learn.
Right.
You know, and so
I'll
be honest, how I learned was watching people move their feet. If somebody was singing, however they moved, I would just mimic. I would make that happen. So naturally, people's feet would move on the count. It's 1, 2, 3, 4.
Right.
The snare is on the 2 and the 4. So when they clap, that's when I learned to keep, you know what I mean, and how to hold the groove was just what I would see their feet doing.
Yeah.
So that's
dope,
how I learned. Just paying attention, and that's how I knew I was always on beat. Because whoever was singing the song, the way they moving, the way they clapping, that's how I caught it.
That's super dope, bro. That's super dope. And I love it. So you really just learn from just watching.
Yes, sir.
And just mimicking and just, let me vibe with this one. And I'm sure there's probably a lot of trial and error in there too. Like
it was. Of course, like I said, you don't get good right off the bat. But, you know, the basics, you watch how they moving. If they swaying, you stay within that time. You know what I mean? And that's how you know you locked in.
That's dope.
Yeah.
And then what other instruments do you play?
So bass guitar. I got into bass guitar when I was 15.
Okay.
So same story. Pops bought me a bass.
Okay.
Because I would always, when I played the drums, I played by myself at church. We didn't have an organist or a keyboardist, nothing like that. So I would hum while I played to make other music. And so sometimes it would be so loud, you know, they'd be like, he playing music. I was playing to myself in my head to keep the beat. And so my dad, my little cousin wanted to play, and he was watching me play. And so I let him get on the drums, and my dad gave me a bass guitar. And I would just play by ear. I would find the note, and I'll be honest, for like 8 years while I was playing the bass, I had no idea what I was playing. But I could go right to it, just instinct. I would go right to the notes and just play. It's really a God-given gift.
That is,
honest. Yeah, it's really a God-given gift, man. And I'll be honest when I say that. But yeah, so I got into the bass guitar at 15. And then from there, I ventured into studio production, you know, trying to learn how to play keys, all self-taught. But like I said, my family, if anybody know the Gastons in Vegas, that's what we do, music. Yeah, so
that's dope, bro.
Yeah, we known for music, my family. So I had a lot of people around me that was better than me, and I think that's what poured into me becoming what I am today.
But like you said, you got to sit back and watch a lot and really mimic a lot of people and steal their styles.
Yeah.
And you got to just make your own little mix of it.
And I feel like that's how you learn. I mean, if you're playing sports, anything you're doing, you're going to watch somebody else do it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And then you take that and you make it your own.
Right. So I know when it comes to being a musician, you have to do a lot of like music reading. How did you learn how to read music? Was that just natural as well, or how did that go? I know that could be like
that's
tough.
Definitely not natural. So, funny thing with that is I didn't know how to read until literally like 4 or 5 years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And right now I'm 45.
Oh wow.
So I've been doing music this whole time and could not read.
On some drum line?
Yeah, because I never took band in school.
Okay.
You know, when I was growing up, band was lame.
Right.
For me, it's like,
March
you gonna go to band? Like, you're supposed to be in PE. You know what I mean? Like,
hooping or something.
Yeah, so band was lame. I wasn't going to band. Mm-hmm. You know, so I didn't learn all that. You know what I mean? So, like I said, I was around people who knew how. I was fortunate to be in studio sessions just off my natural ability, and they would call out technical terms to me or say, hey, do this, do that, and I wouldn't know what they was talking about. I would literally have to have them play something so I could catch it. Mm-hmm. And then they would be like, okay, that's this. Mm-hmm. And so as far as learning goes, learning how to read, I was around bass players. I actually learned how to read bass
first.
Yeah, and from that, then I started learning what everything meant on the sheet. And so, you know, it was just, I picked it up kind of quick. Okay. Now you do lose it if you don't use it. You know what I mean? Exactly. So, because it don't stop. You know what I mean? That time it just keep going.
Yeah.
So yeah, honestly, I learned how to read from my peers.
That's dope, bro.
Yeah, they gave me little things, and I put the work in.
That's really dope, man.
Yes, sir.
So then, what is something else that you possibly learned from your peers when it comes to this music thing? Because it seems like your peers taught you everything.
Yeah, honestly, studio production, you know, basic mixing and you know, hooking up, you know, instruments and going from just playing in my room or playing at church to playing in a recorded type of situation, learning how to mic drums and doing all that stuff. I learned all of that from just peers.
That's dope.
Yeah, never ever took a class. I was fortunate to be around good people.
That's dope.
That didn't mind sharing.
So I know you probably didn't take a class, but you ever have to like reach out to them and say, "Yo, I need your help on this"?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So as an adult, I went back to perfect my craft. So I actually did take some classes on bass, but not on drums because I felt like I was at the top of my game. Not to sound cocky, but you know, I felt like I was at the top of my game. So I'm like, you really can't show me anything else because the way you doing it is just the way you do it. Mm-hmm. You know, so I never took a lesson on drums, but on bass guitar I got into some lessons, and then I got into some like pre-production studio lessons on how to do that stuff, and I'm still learning. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's never ending thing. But I learned a lot from my peers.
That's dope. I think I like that mindset you said of, you know, I play the drums the way I play it, you play the way you play it. I think one of my, I don't know what teacher it was, but I had a teacher that said that, talking about typing. He was like, yes, you can go to typing class and learn how to type properly, but if you can type 100 words a minute doing this with your fingers, that's typing properly.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It's effective and it works.
Because it's all about the words per minute.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about what the end result, what you get out of it. Yeah. So as long as that works, what does it matter?
Yeah.
So, so like you said, the topic for today's episode is also independence. I know you've been being a musician for a long time. How did you convert being a musician to actually being paid to be a musician?
So I was being paid to be a musician. Good question. I was being paid to be a musician since I was 11 years old.
Word.
Yeah, started in church.
That's dope.
Like I said, as 11-year-old, man, I remember they was only paying me $25 Sunday. Hey, but they would give me all ones, you know what I mean? So I come out with a wad, and I thought I was doing something, which I was, you know what I mean? I didn't really realize, and I actually thought the $25 was a ceiling. Mm-hmm. I never knew that, you know, I could make a whole living off of this.
Right.
You know, so in my years, man, I stayed in the church until I was about 16. I had my first real gig at 16. My uncle L.A., rest in peace, L.A., he played guitar. And it was this biker rally or something like that. And he was like, oh, man, my drummer, you know, he flaked out on me. I need you to. And so I came, I'm 16 years old. We playing Mustang Sally and all these, you know, heavy songs that the bikers like. Mm-hmm. And I got a taste. He paid me $125.
Oh, word.
Yeah, for the gig. And I'm like, I didn't know you could do this. You know what I mean? I didn't know you could make money like this playing drums.
Right.
And from then on, you know, I was young, but I wasn't old enough to play in bars, but I was playing with bands. People were calling me, you know, and so from then on, man, I still didn't take it serious because I'm young at that point. You know, you got girls. I'm first starting to drive. I'm like,
right,
you know, I've been doing this forever.
Money.
Drums and music to me was associated with church. So I was trying to find my way. I was trying to pull away from the church and be me. You know, and so thankfully I didn't stray too far. You know, but that was my first introduction to getting paid, playing for like a biker rally. Right. And from then on, like I said, I gave up music for about 8.5 years.
Really?
Yeah. So I had my first son when I was 16.
Okay.
And so my son was born at 16. You know, growing up, when you have a kid at 16, right off the bat, my mom was like, "Well, I ain't taking care of your kid." So
exactly.
I had together. Boom. So I was getting out of school, going to work. I was working at the mall. Wasn't doing no music for like 8 years. And my little cousin came up, and he was better than me. And so I'm like, there ain't no way. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm about to lay this down, and you just go be better than me because I was his inspiration. And so when I saw that he was better than me, I mean, he was doing next level stuff, the speed and, you know, double kick patterns with 1 foot. Like, that was unheard of. You know, like, you know what I mean? Like, but I started learning from him. He used to put, you know, ankle weights on and play the drums.
Oh, wow.
And it got his feet faster. And so, you know, he actually got me back into it because I'm like, man, I taught you what you can't get better than me.
Right.
And so that got me back into it.
That's dope, bro.
Yeah. And when at that point, even though he was better than me, I had lost a lot of my chops. He was just as adamant as me to get me where, you know what I'm saying, I should be by his respect for me.
Right.
So, you know, I like I said, I've been really fortunate, man.
That's dope.
With my life and even bumping my head and, you know, the little stuff I had with the law. And finding my way back to where I really should be, because now I'm where I should be.
Right.
As far as this music goes, like 100% independent with it.
That's beautiful, bro.
Yeah.
And I think that's amazing because it's like you never broke your passion. Like, you didn't know it was your passion.
Yeah, I didn't.
Point. Like you said, at some point it was just a talent.
It was.
But then the talent turned into a passion when you came back to it, and it's like, yeah, this is what I love. You know what I'm saying? This is what
and
makes
everything
me
started lining up. I mean, when I got back into it, like all of my friends played music. All of my cousins play music.
Yeah.
You got some families where they do sports, where they do certain. In my family, we do music. And so I was thankful that, you know, I was surrounded by that core, and it got me back to where I should have been. Because honestly, had I not been there, I wouldn't be where I am today.
Right.
And so, yeah, it got me, you know, touring. And, you know, I've been outside of the country. And, you know, I got my passport with a gang of stamps from just music.
I mean, what are some examples? Like, what's some big things you've done?
So I've done the Tom Joyner cruise, like 4 years in a row with Usher, and I did the Capital Jazz cruise, the Caribbean cruise. I've toured. I've been, like I said, been out of the country.
So, question: I like to go on a cruise. How does a cruise life work being a musician at the same time? Like, I feel like that's kind of lackluster. I don't know.
It's cool. I mean, I'll be honest, because you get a lot of perks. So we get per diem. So the days that you're there, they give you like $100 a day to eat. Yeah. Right. And then you know, so you ain't really paying for nothing. And honestly, when you playing, you entertaining people, the people out there want to buy you stuff. So it's actually real cool. I ain't gonna lie. Like, you know, I was on a cruise. I've done multiple cruises and loved it.
Really?
Yeah.
That's dope, bro.
Yeah, man.
And how long were you on there for? Like a week at a time?
5 days max. I never been on longer than 5 days.
Okay, so you never did like the whole 3 months to tour?
No, but I know guys that do that.
Okay.
And it's hard work for them. Because they playing all day long. You're not on there to vacation.
Right.
We were on there. We were featured artists.
Oh, so you was on
I only had 2 shows.
That's it.
I only had 2 shows. You know what I mean? And sometimes in one day. But the rest of the 4 days, I'm chilling.
Right. But yeah, and that's what I was wondering, kind of them people, they perform 3 times throughout the day, and then when they're not performing, they got to go and do kitchen duties.
Yeah, more than that.
Man.
Yeah, they literally have to pay for their stay.
That's crazy, bro.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. So have you created a band before?
I have.
You have?
Started a couple of bands in here in town. I had a trio called Three's Company.
Really?
Yeah.
That's how dope.
And it was 2 guys and a girl instead of like, if you ever seen Three's Company, the show, it was 2 girls and a guy.
Yeah.
So And we were at the Plaza for like 6 years. We just did that trio. We had Wednesdays and Sunday nights.
Okay.
And it was my band.
When was you up there?
When?
Yeah. I used to work at the Plaza. That's why.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so that probably was 2015.
Ooh, I was there from 2013 to 2016.
The little lounge right there next to the bar.
They had, he just passed away, Mr. Anderson.
Was he like a booking agent?
Nah, he was the comedian, Louis Anderson.
Oh, Louis Anderson.
He was performing.
Yeah, he was in
time,
there.
So I was there when he was performing.
We were in the little lounge, kind of like right, you know what I mean?
Right on the
lounge,
stage,
right?
yep,
Yeah.
yep.
And it's a small little stage in there. And that was, that was my first, like my band. Mm-hmm. And then from there, I started another band called Premier. And it was a 5-piece band. We did all on the Strip. We played through Paris, the Orleans.
That's dope, bro.
Yeah, had corporate shows and stuff like that.
Dope.
So yeah, and from there, I heard about an audition with Purple Rain, the Prince tribute on the Strip.
Okay.
And so I auditioned for it, and it was like 12 guys that went for it.
Okay.
And it was crazy, man, because I had to go first because I had another gig at the Plaza. I had to get out. And so I was, I never really auditioned for anything before. I went in and just did what I did. And so I auditioned for it, and it actually worked out for me, man. 7 years later, I'm still with Purple Rain.
So I'm curious, bro, just how does audition actually work with like a drummer? Like a singer, I can understand the voice, you know what I'm saying? She holds the tones, but like a drummer, how does that work?
They find the most difficult grooves, and they'll say, hey, play this song. You know what I'm saying? And then you got to jam with the band. So they already had a crew. Everybody in that band was in the band for like 13, 14 years. So they've been together. The drummer that they fired, he was in the band for like 12 years. So they gave me like 3 songs, and this is Prince that we playing.
Right.
So they gave me a song called Get Off. They gave me a song called Sexy Motherfucker.
Okay.
Which is a very hard groove. And they gave me 1999. But the thing with Purple Rain is Prince ran drum tracks. So it wasn't the drummer actually playing. Like he ran loops. So like 777 9311, Prince produced that. But so that was the Lynn drums, like a drum machine playing that. But I had to play that in my audition, everything you hear on that.
Right.
You know what I mean? I had to emulate that on the hi-hats, the kick patterns, all that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
that's
so
crazy.
That's what happened with me with 1999. Because like it's like a rim knocking the clap. It's like I got to come back to the snare and then switch up. So I learned all of that literally in 2 weeks.
Wow. So they gave you like the music beforehand?
They gave me the music beforehand.
Okay.
And I had an inside. The bass player was one of my friends from a band before.
Okay.
Yeah, so he was like, you want to try out for this, bro? I know you can get it.
Got you. Okay. So going back to the band thing though, so like how do you actually like create a band then? I'm just curious on how that actually works.
Well, number one, guys don't want to join unless you got something going on.
Right.
And so usually it's got to be your crew. It's got to be people that's your friends. And you got to know what type of music you want to play, what genre of music you want to play. In Vegas, of course, you got to do variety.
Right.
Because you want to be appealing to the Strip and, all those casinos. Yeah. So
because they want all the
exactly. You got to do everything. Yeah. You got to do. So if you're going to be an R&B band, you got to be more like a pop R&B band. And, I'm going to keep it G on the Strip. If you're an all-black band, you're not going to play on the Strip.
Really?
Facts. Yeah. You're not going to play on the Strip. You got to have a white face or an Asian, or you got to have something else other than all black.
Something to mix it up. I already know,
and it's still like that.
I know, bro.
It's still like that to this day. So
yeah. No, we had an all-black promotion group, and there was a fight on a hip-hop night, but it wasn't our night. But because we did hip-hop like the other group did, they just canceled all promotions. So I was like, wow, really? So
and it's like that on the street. So you got an all-black band, they feel like you're going to only be appealing to black people. And so I had to, think about that in my starting band. So naturally, I wanted to go and get my friends and the same people I came up with, but, and not to discredit anybody, but they weren't ready for it anyway. You know what I mean? It's a whole different thing. And so, you just got to bring something different to the table.
Right.
And so there's jam sessions in town, still to this day. Every third Wednesday, it's a jam session at this bar called the Sand Dollar. Okay. All musicians go there. All musicians in the city know. So I just would go there and scout. sit in, jam with somebody, and you network, and people would be like, "Oh, hey, where you playing? Where you playing?" And so I met this couple. The wife was from Thailand, and the guy on guitar, he was white, but they was good, and so they were both front people. So I got them first, got them down with it first, came up with the set list, and they was new to Vegas, so they was eager to get on. I knew people, so yeah, you just basically you got to have a plan. You got to have everything laid out, and you have to have an opportunity for people to jump on. Otherwise, if you just present empty promises, people don't want to join. So fortunately, I made a good name for myself. And so all I did was put the pieces together, we rehearsed, and I already had an opportunity in the bag.
That's dope.
And we just went up from there.
And then all your bands still performing and stuff? Or like, did you like break something off and start over?
So at this point, the culture of music in Vegas and on the Strip has changed. It's a lot of DJs. You're not really where we used to be able to finish one gig. You could literally go to another casino and see another band play till 2 a.m. Now you don't see that. It's all DJs.
Right.
On the Strip, they've gotten rid of all the bands that used to play on the Strip. So it's not the same type of culture on the Strip now. You can't really get that many gigs like that.
Interesting. You don't think like the live bands can be more? I want to say like the horse and car. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody wanted the car, but now the horse is more valuable now. So do you think like the live band's gonna be like that soon?
Nah, I think the whole live band thing is actually going down in Vegas because if you just look at old Vegas, the way it was set up, it was built on live entertainment.
Yeah.
And it's not really anymore. Now where the Strip is going, they carried it towards sports and everything with the pro teams. And actually COVID was what did it. After COVID,
don't get out no more.
Yeah, they got rid of all the bands, and when we came back from COVID, it was all DJs. And so it's much easier to pay one guy versus paying 6.
Exactly. And there's one guy, he got an easier job. All I gotta do is just hook something up on all the different microphones.
Yeah, you don't need a sound guy on hand.
Right.
You know what I mean? So now you see the culture where guys is playing in lounges off the Strip.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So now that's what's up. You go, like the Mariposas and, all those little lounges.
Yeah.
That's where everybody playing.
That's the only place you can play to really get the crowd you're looking for.
And it's one of the places where you can have an all-black band.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm only speaking for my culture because that's what I know.
You know what I mean? So,
yeah, you can have an all-black band in those places, but yeah, it's literally going down to just lounges.
That's crazy, bro. That's wild. I was wondering, do we have any questions from our audience today?
I got a question. So, what else? Do you do anything else besides the music?
I do. A couple things actually. I have a day job. I work for Cox Communications. I'm in sales.
Okay.
I run a studio out of my house.
Oh, okay.
That goes within music. I used to do a lot of promotional product sales. Branded T-shirts, branded apparel. All that type of stuff, man. So I try to, keep a good business line for myself.
Right.
More than just one thing.
Right.
Want to have multiple streams of income.
Always.
Yeah. So
you also something coming in your pocket.
So I got onto that, from a mentor. I never really understood how important it was to have a mentor.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Somebody that's shooting higher than you can see.
You
know what I mean? So when I latched on to that, I feel like it helped me build a brand for myself. It helped me think further than I could see. And so, shout out to my mentor, man.
Yeah, I was going to say shout out to mentor. I was going to ask who your mentor was.
His name is Jathan Austin. He's actually my pastor at church.
Okay.
Yeah, shout out to Apostle Jay. Real smart dude, got his hands in a lot of different things, and he challenged me all the time. So I appreciate him for that.
Yes, no, I love it.
But yeah, I'm in sales, so I do sales, and I try to do anything I can, to be honest. I like to learn. I'm a learner. I like to learn. So I actually want to get into, like stage setup and sound and media.
Right. And I was going to ask you that.
I want to get into all of that because I feel like that goes into what I'm doing.
Right.
So as a nest egg or a retirement type of thing, I really want to open my own, sound company or, something like that to be able to do lighting and the whole thing.
Right.
The whole AV.
No, that's super dope, bro. That's super dope. I love that. Do you also do do you also do mentoring for other people?
Now I'm not
mentor. Sorry,
but I would like to. You know what I mean? Because I feel like in my experience, I do have, you know, things that I can share.
Yeah.
And especially, you know, if you aspire to do what I do, I've pretty much seen a lot of the obstacles.
Okay.
And I can pretty much, you know, help you stay out of certain areas or, you know, give advice on certain things. So yeah, I would be open to that. I actually just started doing lessons because that was another thing I was never really got into because I wasn't really taught. So I felt like I didn't know how to teach.
Right.
But yeah, you know what I mean? And so, but it's just, you know, starting at the basics and what I remember to be the basics. And I actually got one student, and from then on, it just kind of helped me build up, my curriculum.
I love what you said just now. What I think were the basics. Like, I feel like that. Flag, so I do flag football. I coach and ref for flag football, and I'll do the same thing. I'll start with what I think is the basics, but then it turns out it's like, oh no, there's something a little more basic than this that we have to start out first before we get here.
Because you're still kind of advanced.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
exactly.
And that's the same with me. I had to dumb down my teaching.
You have to dumb it down.
Yeah, because it's like, okay, just starting out, they're not going to understand the concept of that. Yeah, so it's a lot of coordination involved in music and just in, you know, thinking on that way in general. You know, you're stretching your mental capacity.
Right. I like that. So then another one of my other questions I had for you is, I know we were talking about this earlier in the pregame, for, you know, being African Americans and trying to represent ourselves in communities that really aren't accepting to us. So I was just curious on, like, how do you continue to do that? Definitely with you always getting multiple gigs and doing multiple performances, multiple type jobs. Like, how do you continue to help make us look good in the community, if that makes sense?
Well, you just represent yourself well. You know, like however I choose to dress right now, like I'm dressed down. You know, people can see this and they might think, they might try to judge me, put me in a box.
Right.
But when you start talking to me, you know, I can speak well.
You can articulate.
You know, yeah. So, you know, I know a little bit about a lot. So I mean, you know, I can have a decent conversation. I can speak educated if I need to. I can speak their language. I can speak all the languages.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I know how to, like I said, I take it seriously. So I feel like with that, that's going to take me further.
Right.
And just, you know, seeing an obstacle and stopping there.
And I think that's the beauty of what you said. Take it seriously. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, they're not taking it serious. They just like, oh, I run into that bump in the road. Never mind, let me go back downhill.
And taking
like,
taking something serious look different to everybody else. You know what I mean? Because you think getting up and getting to it every day, you taking it serious, but it take a little more than just getting up and getting to it.
Right.
You got to set your mind to it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because I can get up and go just do something out of my natural ability. But if my mind not there, if I'm not telling myself I can succeed at that, and if it ain't in me that I'm gonna win, then I'm not gonna win.
Yes, not beautiful. And I think that's the same thing when it comes to giving, you know. Like going out there and helping people is good, but if you don't have your heart into it, that I'm really doing this for a purpose and I feel good, I'm feeling this good feeling coming back to me, ain't no point even doing it if you're doing out there with a stale mindset or just
you just cloud chasing basically.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? It's a waste of time, bro. You're just out there just doing it for the gram or whatever the case may be. So no, I truly understand that. So one of my true questions is, and I think a lot of people probably want to hear this, how do you take your music and turn it into money? If that makes sense. Like, how do you get paid to do music?
Everybody's doing music these days.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like, how do you do it?
It's a little harder to do that now, but I feel like your work ethic and what you've done already, is what puts you in that spot to be able to do that. So like I said, I've built a reputation, and I feel like I got a strong name in the city. Not to be supposed to brag or nothing like that, but I've taken it serious. You know what I mean? To the point to where you give me something, I'm gonna deliver +1.
Right.
You know what I mean? So with that said, I just keep a clean slate. You know what I mean? Where I go, I'm gonna stand behind my brand. I'm gonna do what I say I'm gonna do. I'm gonna show up when I say I'm showing up.
Right.
You're not gonna have to ask me about this, that, or the next. I'm gonna show up with everything I need, plus a plan B.
Right.
So,
back up and
so I feel like you just have to be ready for whatever happens. And with me, I'm fortunate to be able to get money out of it because of how consistent I stayed with it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Even when I wasn't making money from it, I still kept going because I knew it was something else there.
Right.
And you just got to know that.
Right. So then on the flip side of it, as a musician, I'm sure we all failed in life. We all had to fail. So I'm just curious, just like, to understand what is the reason that you have failed unless you learn from it.
So I was responsible for my own failure. And it goes back to something I said earlier. I was comparing myself with other people. until I really realized that I had something unique. And I capitalized on that. That's when I started to exceed.
Right.
Yeah, so I took my eyes off of who was around me.
Right.
And I just focused on me.
Right.
And when I did that, it took me further than they went.
Right.
You know, so I'm thankful for that.
So then as a musician, though, isn't that kind of hard? Because it's like, I always had the thought that I need them to groove for me to, you know what I'm saying?
Well, in a band setting, yes. But music is very competitive. And you'll lose your mojo watching everybody else. Like even now, I mean, I'm 45, so I'm what they call the old head in the music game.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because all the youngsters, man, they doing stuff that at 15, it's kids that have been playing for 3 years, man, and they've passed where I got in 20. You know, it's just the way that things are now. But if I'm looking at that every day and I'm measuring myself against that, yeah, I'm gonna lose my confidence. But if I'm like, hey, I got what I got, you know what I mean? Because can you come over here and do X, Y, and Z? A lot of guys can't just hold a simple groove without, you know, getting ADHD and jumping all over the kid.
Right.
You know, and in a band setting, that just don't work. You know, and so I've always made myself stand out by basically creating job security for myself. Right. Because I felt like I had a unique skill set. I could hear something and just do it. You know what I mean? Versus you don't got to tell me twice. Right. You know, I'm catching it on that next pass around. Right. And so I feel like that's and I remember things down to the T. Every detail in the song. Some of my friends used to call me Xerox back in the day because I would hear the groove and I would play and I'd stay right there. You know, I wouldn't move all around. And so I feel like that discipline is what got me where I was. And more people started calling me based on what I wasn't doing. When I was looking at what everybody else is, they all over the kid, they doing this, they doing that. And I would just stay put, you know, just hold the groove down and let everybody else do what they do. And I got more work like that.
Yeah. No, I understand that. You're just doing your job in the group. You know, my job is keep the rhythm, so I'm going to keep the rhythm.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not to be the star, I'm be in the background.
And that's the issue with drummers, you know. We probably have the loudest instrument on the stage because it can't really just be acoustically controlled. Right. It really can't. You know, a guitar and anything electric, you can turn it down. The drums, you can turn it down, but I'm still making noise. It might not be in the mix, but my cymbal's still going to be loud. So I feel like it comes with a huge amount of discipline. Right. And I feel like that spilled over into other areas of my life. And that's why I feel like being a musician has added a lot to my life. Right. In other areas.
And I was going to ask, what other areas has it added in? Definitely the discipline mindset.
So just everywhere, man. Like work, even being, you know, a dad. You know what I mean? Because I got 4 boys.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and none of my sons play music.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I tried to put them into it, but they all sports. But I feel like it just added a lot to my life. It gave me a lot of discipline and understanding the team aspect, understanding it ain't just about me. Right. I learned a lot of that stuff from just playing drums. I mean, you know, no discredit to my pops, but, you know, when I grew up, I kind of was on my own. You know what I mean? He was in the house with me, but I was on my own. And so music kept me focused, kept me in a certain box. It's just like sports with some people. Right. You get on the team, you start learning teamwork. You start learning, if I don't show up to practice, I'm making somebody else work harder. Right. So same thing with that.
Right. I love it. I think that's pretty dope, man. I think that's pretty dope.
So a segue to that, how do you blend being a musician and family life? And then on top of that, too, can you talk more about, like, I know you mentioned Apostle J, but just talk about being in the church and being a music director in a church and, like, how does that all blend together for you?
Yeah, so, I mean, it's a lot of responsibility with a music director because you literally have to know everybody's part. I got to show up. I have to know everybody's part, what everybody's responsible for doing. If they don't know it, I have to be able to tell them. Right. You know, and so that comes with a lot of dedication. And like Triv said, I am the musical director. I'm the music director for Bethel Empowerment Church, Las Vegas. Okay. And so a lot of people would be like, well, how are you the music director? You play drums. You know, you can't really, well, because, you know, that's a challenge. You know, people don't see drummers that you could be a music director because, you know, how can you tell these guys what notes to play? That's why you got to know other instruments. That's why you have to know, you know, and you got to know how to talk to people. So being a music director for a church is a lot of pressure. Right. I got to be the first one there, the last one to leave. Make sure everybody's doing it. And I'm actually more than the music director. I mean, I'm in charge of a lot of things, you know what I'm saying? But I'm very thankful to be stretched to that capacity because it's taught me a lot about my own self.
Right.
So, Pastor Jay, he moved here from Grand Rapids, Michigan, maybe 2 years ago. He just came to Vegas, didn't really know anybody like that. How I met him, I was invited over to a service by one of my friends. He was a drummer before. And when I got there, he was like, hey, I got to leave early, bro. Can you play for me? And I wasn't even there for that. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so I sat down and I played. I didn't know the pastors. I didn't know anybody there. I sat down and played, and I ain't do nothing, fancy or nothing like that. But I played, and when I was done playing, the pastor came up to me. He was like, hey, man, what's your name, all that. We was talking. He asked me for my information. He called me the next week. He was like, hey, man, I saw you in my dream. I saw this vision, this whole thing. We're supposed to be working together. Would you be our music director? And I'm like, I've been a music director before, but not fully, what I mean, for a church situation because there was other key components that were there and I could kind of slide in and ride easy street. Right. Whereas this situation, I had to build it from the ground up. Yeah, literally everything. We had to build from the ground up. So, some real stressful moments for me. But thankfully, all the dots connected. I started meeting the people that I needed. And Triv came in that. You know what I mean? So everything started connecting for me. And that's how I knew, okay, I have a higher purpose than what I can see. Right. It ain't just to play drums. It's not even just to be a musician, it's to be a leader.
Yes.
So, and now I'm embracing that more so in my life to be a leader, and I'm actually preparing to get off the drums.
Really?
Yeah, in that setting and just lead.
Really? And just step back and just
just kind of just straight up direct and make sure everything is in the best shape for the pastor.
That's deep. Yeah. So then, how do you, like you said, balance all this out? Pastor.
Well, you got to put things where they belong, and that's just that. When it's time for me to be MD, I'm being MD. I didn't know balance at first because I would be at home, and trying to do everything all at one time. It was really hard for me, really stressful. Yeah. With having a wife, with having a kid, and trying to balance time for that. And my wife does music. She's a singer. She plays piano. So
there's music all around.
You know what I mean? So that's why I said it ended up being more evident that this was where I was supposed to be. Right. And so really, I don't balance it. I just do what it calls for. If I gotta be real, it's no balance. Right. I just rise to the occasion. Yep. When it's time to do it, you just do something else. Yeah.
No, I feel you on that one. Sometimes it's best to just go with the flow.
If I tried to balance it, I would stress myself. You know what I mean? Because I'm trying to focus too hard on the balance rather than just doing everything.
Right, exactly. No, and I fully agree with that. And that's one thing I'm learning to do is let go. Yeah. I don't have control of everything. Just take a step back, go with the flow, and let it happen.
But that's what most people try to tell you should do. And sometimes it don't call for that in your life. You know what I mean? Balance don't look the same for all of us.
No, not at all.
So for me, I don't balance it. I just do what it takes to do it. Yep. At any moment.
Get it done.
Yep. If it's 2 a.m, I'm doing what I got to do.
We used to saying that focus and balance don't go together.
Nah, they don't.
You can't do it.
There's no way to do it. You know what I mean? Because you could get a call, like I said, in the middle of the night to do something. If I put it off till tomorrow, that's more on my plate for tomorrow. Yep. And I'm not that guy. I don't want to do more tomorrow. If I got 10 minutes to do it right now, I'm going to just sit down and do it. Yep. So I don't balance it. I just get to it.
And that's my dad always say, nobody gonna do it for you, so do it right now, get it out the way. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Knock it all out now, go forward.
Balance was stressing me out, and trying to find balance, and then I was finding myself snapping on people and saying, nah, this is the point for this is the time for that. It is just like, just get it done.
Get it done when you can.
Yeah.
I love it, bro. I think that's beautiful, brother. So I know we're going toward our end game now, so one question I ask all the guests that come on the show is, where are you still swimming to when it comes to just life in general, being a musician, being the musical director? Where are you still swimming to?
Total independence, like total. You know what I mean? I want to be at that point where I can wake up and call the shots from start to finish. You know what I mean? Like, and not worry about taking care of the day-to-day things. I know that might seem unrealistic, but it's out there. you can have it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I'm a believer of that, and I'm sticking to the script till I get there.
Right.
So for me, I'm just keeping my head in the game. I'm embracing all the opportunities that God given me. You know what I mean? And I'm maximizing them to the fullest.
Beautiful. I love it, brother. And then, well, my next question is there any piece of motivation you would like to leave with definitely maybe some of our younger viewers or our people that, you know, are chasing this music life, but they feel like it's not going nowhere or it's not working out for them? Is there any motivation you'd like to leave for them?
Yep. It might sound cliche, but you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yep.
And that's just straight up like that. If you looking around and you saying, oh, I'm not gonna do this because this person doing that. I can't make music and do this because now they doing this. If you keep that mentality, you only crippling yourself.
Yep.
So for me, I had to tell myself that. You miss it. I'll be honest, man, before I got with Purple Rain, and I was always afraid to push myself to the next level because I felt content where I was.
Right.
It's like, I'm here, I'm getting paid, that's cool.
That's cool.
I don't need to go try to do more and get let down. But the shots I didn't take, I missed them. When I started taking those shots, I started getting them.
Some of them, though.
Yeah, I started getting them.
Exactly.
And that's just the way it is. Like I said, it sounds cliche, but you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Right.
So take the shots, take the chance.
Right.
If it's not breaking you, if it's not killing you, take the chance.
Right. No, and I love that. My mindset is always, you know, I'd rather have 6 points than no points.
Hey, because you scored.
I scored. Yeah, I scored something like maybe ain't 81, but I scored something. So I'm gonna take it and run with it and be happy with it, bro. So I love it, brother. And then last but not least, is there a quote you'd like to leave with us today? Besides you miss all the shots you don't take.
That was the one I had.
I figured it was.
That was the quote I had, because I mean, like I said, I had to apply that to myself.
Right.
I was keeping myself from going to that next level by measuring myself up against my peers. Yeah. So, and shout out, my cousin. I don't know if a lot of people know him, but King Bay. He make beats around the city. He's named Vejan Hill, but that's my little cousin that actually pushed me to get back where I wanted to be.
Okay.
And he actually started making it, playing for T.I., playing for Rick Ross, playing at Dre's on the strip. He helped me to see, it's more than what we just doing in the church.
Right.
You know what I mean? And by him getting good, he came back and got his big bro.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So shout out you, bro.
Yeah, all right, bro. Any other shout outs you like to make while we on it?
Yeah, shout out the whole Gaston family. Shout out the Gas Station Studio. Shout out Triv. Shout you out. You know what I'm saying? Shout out the podcast. You know what I mean? Glad to be here today and share.
Yes, sir. No, we appreciate you coming on here today, bro. Taking your time out the day, come share with us, bro. Like I said, you motivated me. If you ain't motivated nobody out there, you motivated me, bro. So I appreciate you for sharing the time, man.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Big shout out to Vegas Vibrations and T's Max Productions for making this happen one more time. We'll be back again with another Independence episode for you guys coming at the end of the month, so be on the lookout for that. Besides that, make sure to hit us up on Gmail, jkspodcast702@gmail.com for any questions, comments, concerns. And then any questions you have for Mr. Frank G, reach out, send them to us, or you can hit him up on his IG at...
Again, it's Frank G's79. Frank G's with 3 E's, 1 Z.
Yep.
And then I'm on Facebook. It's Frank B. Gaston. Look me up.
Yep. Anything else? TikTok? Nothing like that?
I know TikTok. I'm old school, bro.
Old school. I feel it, bro.
I gotta get in that. I mean, I've been trying to do the TikTok thing, but I guess I gotta see how that's working.
You gotta actually sit down and play with it, bro.
Yeah, because I ain't really putting
no
no time into that.
I fully feel you. We're getting there. We're getting there. The IG is the podcast is on TikTok though, so please make sure you guys check us out, JKS Podcast. With all that being said, I hope you guys have a great day, a marvelous afternoon, a splendid evening, and remember to just keep swimming. Yes, sir. Peace.